In the small, isolated town of Blackwood, there stood a grand and imposing mansion known as Blackwood Manor. The locals whispered stories about the house, tales of eerie occurrences and paranormal activity that dated back for generations. On Halloween night in 1923, the most terrifying story of all unfolded. The mansion was once the residence of the Blackwood family, a wealthy and enigmatic clan who had lived there for centuries. Legend had it that they had made a pact with dark forces to gain their immense wealth and power, and as a result, a curse had befallen the family and their mansion. On that fateful Halloween night, a group of curious teenagers decided to test their bravery by entering Blackwood Manor. Armed with flashlights and their skepticism, they ventured into the decrepit mansion. The moment they crossed the threshold, they felt an icy chill that seemed to penetrate their bones. As they explored the labyrinthine hallways, they heard whispers in the shadows, faint cries for help that sent shivers down their spines. The walls seemed to pulse and breathe, as if the house itself were alive. Suddenly, a spectral figure appeared before them, dressed in old-fashioned clothing. Its face was twisted in agony, and it beckoned them to follow. The teenagers followed the ghostly apparition deeper into the mansion, descending into a crypt hidden beneath the house. There, they discovered a hidden chamber filled with ancient, cursed artifacts and sinister symbols. It was a chamber dedicated to the dark forces that had plagued the Blackwood family for centuries. As the teens ventured further into the chamber, the ghostly figure transformed into a grotesque, demonic entity. It let out a bone-chilling scream, and the chamber's doors slammed shut, trapping them inside. Panic set in as they realized that they were now prisoners in a malevolent dimension. For hours, they endured torturous visions, horrifying apparitions, and unspeakable horrors. It was as if they had entered a nightmarish realm of eternal torment. Just as they were on the brink of madness, the walls of the chamber began to close in, threatening to crush them. With their last ounce of strength, they managed to escape. The teenagers fled the mansion, forever scarred by the horrors they had witnessed. Blackwood Manor was sealed off and condemned, never to be entered again. To this day, the townsfolk of Blackwood refuse to go near the cursed mansion, and the memory of that Halloween night still haunts their dreams. Whether or not this story is based on any truth is uncertain, but one thing remains clear. Blackwood Manor and its dark history continue to send shivers down the spines of those who dare to speak its name on Halloween night. Once, in the quiet and remote town of Hollowwood, there stood an imposing, ancient manor that cast a shadow over the entire neighborhood. This mansion was said to be cursed, with a dark and mysterious history that sent shivers down the spines of all who knew of it. The townspeople had long avoided the place, except for one fateful night each year, Halloween. On the eve of October 31st, the bravest souls in Hollowwood gathered to explore the enigmatic Hollowwood Manor, seeking the ultimate Halloween thrill. This year, a group of adventurous friends, including Nova, Max, and Emma, decided to unlock its secrets. Armed with flashlights, they cautiously approached the mansion's wrought iron gates. The full moon cast eerie shadows on the overgrown garden as they ventured further into the foreboding darkness. The old oak trees whispered secrets to the wind, and the rustling leaves created a symphony of spooky sounds. The friends approached the creaky front door and pushed it open with trepidation. Inside, the manor was shrouded in a thick layer of dust and cobwebs, with antique furniture covered in white sheets and faded portraits staring down from the walls. The atmosphere was heavy with a sense of the past, and the air was icy cold. As they explored the house, strange occurrences began to unfold. Whispering voices echoed through the corridors, and the friends felt an unseen presence watching their every move. Max's flashlight flickered, and Emma claimed to have seen a ghostly figure in the mirror. Nova tried to keep her composure, but her heart raced with fear. The group made their way to the manor's grand ballroom, where they discovered an old piano. Nova, a talented pianist, couldn't resist the temptation to play it. As her fingers touched the keys, a haunting melody filled the room, and the ghostly apparitions of a long-forgotten ballroom dance began to swirl around them. The spirits seemed to be reenacting their last moments, and the friends watched in awe and terror. Suddenly, the ghostly dancers turned toward the group, their hollow eyes locking onto them. The room grew colder, and the friends realized they had unwittingly become part of the spectral dance. Panic set in as they struggled to break free from the ethereal grip of the mansion's dark history. With a burst of courage, they managed to flee the ballroom and rush toward the front door. The spirits pursued them, reaching out with ghostly hands. Just as they reached the entrance, the friends slammed the door shut, sealing the malevolent forces inside the manor. Breathing heavily, they stepped back into the moonlight and watched as the manor's windows glowed with an otherworldly light. The curse of Hollowwood Manor remained, but at least, for now, it was contained within its foreboding walls. From that night on, the friends warned the town about the horrors that lurked within Hollowwood Manor, ensuring that no one would venture inside ever again. The legends of Halloween in Hollowwood lived on, a chilling reminder of the power of the past to haunt the present. And so, the tale of the haunting of Hollowwood Manor became a staple of the town's Halloween lore, a spine-tingling story told around campfires, keeping the memory of that fateful night alive for generations to come. In a small, picturesque town nestled deep within a valley, the arrival of autumn heralded the much-anticipated Harvest Festival. The town, named Harvest Hollow, was known for its vibrant fall foliage, pumpkin patches, and a long history of Halloween traditions. This year, however, the festival was going to be unlike any other. As the days grew shorter and the nights darker, whispers of strange occurrences began to spread throughout the town. It started with peculiar shadows moving through the cornfields at night, unsettling whispers carried by the wind, and eerie lights flickering in the abandoned barn on the outskirts of town. Some said the spirits of the past were awakening, while others dismissed it as mere superstition. The tale of the town's haunted history came to life during a stormy night, a week before Halloween. A young woman named Emily, new to Harvest Hollow, had moved into a centuries-old farmhouse on the edge of the cornfields. Her intention was to restore the historic property to its former glory, unaware of the legends that surrounded it. The townsfolk tried to warn her, but she was determined to breathe life back into the old home. One evening, while Emily was exploring the attic, she discovered an ancient journal hidden beneath the floorboards. The journal belonged to a woman named Eleanor, who had lived in the farmhouse in the early 19th century. Her entries told of supernatural occurrences, strange rituals, and a curse that had plagued the land for generations. As Emily delved deeper into the journal's pages, she realized that the farmhouse and the town of Harvest Hollow were inextricably linked to these dark events. Haunted by curiosity and determined to unravel the mysteries that shrouded the town, Emily delved into the past, seeking answers in the dusty archives of the local library and consulting with the town's oldest residents. She soon discovered that the key to lifting the curse lay in a forgotten Halloween ritual that had been abandoned for generations. With the help of her newfound friends, she set out to resurrect the long-lost tradition, hoping it would free Harvest Hollow from the haunting. As Halloween night approached, Emily and the townsfolk prepared to face the darkness that had plagued their home for centuries. The streets of Harvest Hollow were adorned with lanterns and pumpkins, but an air of uncertainty hung over the town. The ritual began at dusk, and as the townspeople followed the instructions from Eleanor's journal, the atmosphere grew tense. They had to confront their deepest fears and make amends for past wrongs to break the curse. In the heart of the cornfields, surrounded by ancient oaks, the final step of the ritual began. The ground trembled, and the sky crackled with supernatural energy. The town's past sins and grievances materialized as spectral figures, and the battle between light and darkness began. Emily and the townsfolk fought bravely, each confronting their own inner demons and facing the collective guilt that had held their town captive for so long. As the clock struck midnight on Halloween, a blinding burst of light enveloped Harvest Hollow, and the malevolent spirits were banished. The curse that had haunted the town for generations was finally broken. The air was filled with a sense of relief and renewal, and Harvest Hollow could finally celebrate Halloween without fear. The haunting of Harvest Hollow became a tale told for generations to come, a reminder of the power of unity, courage, and the enduring spirit of a town that refused to be defined by its haunted history.